Hey everybody, it's Pax. Welcome back to the final video in our campaign play-along. We're playing Return to Before the Black Throne with Trish and Diana. We just barely made it through Return to the Clutches of Chaos, and I cut the video before reading the interlude and the final resolution, so let's take a quick look at that. We ended up in Resolution 1 choosing to enlist Annette's help in helping fix this, and so we asked Annette for assistance. So then, proceeding into Twist of Fate, we record one tally mark for having accepted our fate. Since we asked Annette for assistance, we record 2 tally marks and then also add a -4 to the Chaos bag. Both of my investigators test pretty high up, and I think that the result of this choice is pretty fine, given that we are passing a lot of tests, barring the auto-fail once we're set up. So I think that this is okay. It also is diluting the auto-fail a little bit in that regard. We're also getting 2 tally marks for having 6 mementos collected. I don't have them listed in front of me because, again, I'm using the app to track it. I guess I could pull it up really quickly. Are they all listed right at the end? Yeah, they are. The Mesmerizing Flute, the Scrap of Torn Shadow, Gilman's Journal, Keziah's Formula, the Worn Crucifix, and the Wisp of Spectral Mist. Holy moly. And then we also get 1 tally mark for having the Black Book in our deck. So now that we've taken a look at what happens at the end of the last scenario, let's take a look at the tarot reading and our deck upgrades. For the tarot reading, we went with the Inverted World, which causes us to suffer an additional trauma during a defeat resolution for any investigator that gets defeated, but with this being the finality, that basically doesn't matter to me in the slightest. And this was a gimme that we've been aware about since the very start of the campaign. So let's head into Trish's deck. So I found the deck upgrades pretty tricky going into this final scenario. I know it asks a lot of very specific things of you, and unfortunately one of those things is having cancels, which Trish does not have access to in this card pool, and so instead we're going to be going with the other thing it's asking of us, which is dealing with the acolytes that can spawn behind you. And to that effect, I've dropped 2 copies of Intel Report for 2 copies of Small Favor. There is a risk here. Like I said, it helps me to spend cash to avoid doubling back really far for an Acolyte. Saving actions to save against Doom. This might not be an essential upgrade, and it might damage my clue gathering capabilities more than I'd like it to, but between that utility of sniping the Acolytes and the fact that Diana's kind of just been picking up clues fine all campaign anyways, I think this is okay. We're also spending 1 XP to drop a Nimble and pick up a Liquid Courage level 1, which is kind of a last-ditch effort to just not die if Azathoth is punching us in the face too many times. For Diana, I struggled a lot to figure out what I wanted to do. Hypnotic Gaze level 2 is not where I thought I would end up, but I think it's actually solving a problem I have right now, which is that I don't have Word of Protection 2, and I don't have those cancellations in Trish. If she's forced to eat too many of those attacks from Azathoth, she's either dead or we're placing a bunch of Doom on Azathoth, and neither of those are good options. So for this reason, I'm picking up 2 copies of Hypnotic Gaze and hoping to God that dropping Delay the Inevitable is the right call. The reason I'm dropping Delay the Inevitable over something else is that Dark Prophecy feels too useful for helping me to be able to do Sixth Sense stuff and very easily get it underneath me. Delay the Inevitable is really good for cycling with the Twilight Blade, where you can just use it every turn to get a little bit of extra card draw for $1. But that never really functioned well this campaign for me. I don't think the card pool really supports that. And also, Delay the Inevitable, playing it on Trish, there's a weird timing is that I have to play it during my turn, right? It's fast play only during your turn. I'd have to play it the turn ahead of time, thinking that Trish is going to get that, or else Trish needs to spend a bunch of money to keep it in play. And with her being big money, she can afford it, but that is going to impact her well-connected and her ability to play stuff like Small Favor. So I think that losing the Delay the Inevitable for the Hypnotic Gaze is, maybe not the best call, but I think it's the right call for what I'm trying to do with this card right now. Right, so then as always, the scenario setup is mostly handled in Tabletop Simulator. The only thing that I'm going to note here, I suppose, is reading the rules about the Cosmos, but also here we have a tally mark recorded to the path winds before you. We place a resource in the scenario reference card. We had 6 in total, so we'll be getting 6 resources on the scenario reference card. The Cosmos. Throughout the scenario, new locations will enter play from the top of the Cosmos, a separate deck consisting of double-sided locations. This is done via the action spend X clues, draw the top X card to the Cosmos, choose one to put into play, using its connection instructions, and move to it. Shuffle the rest back into the Cosmos. The revealed side of each Cosmos location has a Cosmos instruction which tells the investigator where to connect that location. Yada yada yada, there's an example. A new location cannot enter play in a position already occupied by a location. If a location's connections instructions are impossible to fulfill, shuffle that location back into the Cosmos and cancel the effects of the move. Cosmos instructions are only resolved when a location is being drawn from the Cosmos. When revealing a Cosmos location that is already in play, do not follow its Cosmos instructions. Empty space. During this scenario, you will be placing empty space into play. This is done by taking the top card of the active investigator's deck and putting it into play face down in the indicated position. If there is no active investigator, the top card of the lead investigator's deck should be used instead. Empty space is not a location and cannot be entered by enemies or investigators unless otherwise noted. It does, however, count as a location for the purpose of determining the distance between two locations. A location can enter play in a position occupied by empty space. Should this happen, the empty space card is shuffled back into the owner's deck. And then the keyword bonded, which is not applicable for this scenario. So before we click that setup button that we have, let's take a look at our damned weakness for Trish. We end up with beginning the game with 3 fewer resources and cannot gain resources during the first turn. So 1, 2, 3, that nullifies 1.5 of our another day, another dollars. Okay, let's try that again. Opening hand. Rook, magnifying glass, perception, manual dexterity. Might never matter. We'll get rid of the manual dexterity. We'll draw 1 card. It'll be a cryptic writings, and we'll regret that. But that's okay. We'll do our opening hand with Diana, which is missing the Dark Insight. There we go. Let's try that again. Drawn to the Flame, deny existence level 5, a dodge, and I've had worse, and a hypnotic gaze. So I do not need this many cancels. I believe that I am removing the hypnotic gaze, and I am removing the Drawn to the Flame, and I believe I'm even removing the Deny Existence and the I've Had Worse, and I'm just keeping the Dodge and the Dark Insight, and we'll be drawing 4 new cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, what a fucking nightmare. I cannot believe that I'm just never getting cards for combat at the very start. Alright, so we've clicked the Act 1 setup, and we've gotten this. We didn't actually get these put down. I put these down myself. It just gives you X's to show you where the empty space is. We start in play at the Cosmic Ingress, which is a 2-shroud, 3-clue location. At the end of the round, add clues until it gets 3. Each void location gains. Shuffle this location into the Cosmos, moving each investigator and enemy that was at this location to Cosmic Ingress. We've got our Wheel of Fortune X. Each location is connected to each location adjacent. Do not remove Doom from enemies when this agenda advances. We've got Azathoth in play here. He is a 3/3 attack, no combat, health, or agility. Evade. Azathoth is oblivious and omnipotent. It is immune to all player card effects and investigator actions and cannot be defeated by any means. Forced, if there is 10 or more Doom on Azathoth, the blind idiot god rises from its throne in the ultimate void of chaos and devours the universe. R1. The Cosmos beckons. We're spending X clues, drawing the top X cards of the Cosmos, choosing one to put into play, using its Cosmos instructions, and move to it. Shuffle the rest back into the Cosmos. Only investigators at Hideous Palace may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. So one of those two locations that was put out was the Hideous Palace, which I looked at ahead of time. I'm pretty sure it's a 3-shroud location with like 4 clues per turn on it, similar to the Cosmic Ingress. I think that's right. And we only need 2 clues at the end, so we don't have to go far. For the return to setup stuff, there's a new act. There's a couple new Cosmos locations included in the return to set. And when the game begins, we can remove 2 resources from the scenario reference card, which should have 6, by the way, to have each investigator begin this game with a Nightgaunt Steed story asset in play. Remove each remaining Nightgaunt Steed from the game. So we're going to put our 6 resources, that's Doom, our 6 resources up here by the scenario card. And I think we are going to spend the 2 to get a copy of each of these in front of each of our investigators, and then remove the rest of this from the game. So just to check what these do, while you control the Nightgaunt Steed, you may enter empty space as if it were a location. After you enter empty space, Nightgaunt Steed takes a direct damage. If Nikon Steed leaves play, remove it from the game and move it to the nearest revealed location. This is the bad boy that brought us up in this space to begin with. If we had read any of the story text leading up to this, which we didn't, sorry. It's pretty interesting return to edition here. I think it's definitely a big help for navigating the scenario, and we'll see that very shortly. Finally, we got our Chaos Bag. Didn't forget to put my +1 back in and put my cultist or my Skull token back out. Skulls are -X, half the doom on Azathoth, rounded up to a minimum of -2, so it's going to be -2 for a while. And tablets are -2 if you fail. Azathoth attacks you. Hoping to God not to get these at bad timings. Okay, so we need to get to one of these two locations, which means we need to reveal two locations to be able to walk up back and forth like this. Now, where these get placed is, you know, anyone's guess kind of thing. So it's very good for us to get quite a few clues from here to be able to look at more cards off of... I'm going to move this to a more reasonable place. More cards off of this so that we know we can go in this direction. I think we do have a setup turn here. I cannot spend game resources on this first turn with Trish. So she's going to go ahead and play Mr. Rook for 1, 2, 3. She's going to investigate... she's going to play her magnifying glass as well. She's going to investigate the location 5 against... the value, which was 2, I believe. And we're going to immediately use Mr. Rook to look at the top 9 cards of the deck. Okay, so we don't want to take the Cryptic Writings because we can't use it. But we will take... I think in the interest of just going fast, I'm going to take a magnifying glass and just go a little faster. So during the action window there, we're going to play the magnifying glass. We're going to permit the perception to be 9 against 2. -2, I'm succeeding by a lot and drawing 2 cards, a hot streak and a working a hunch, and getting 1 clue off the location. And then last action, we're just going to investigate again, 6 against 2, getting another clue off the location. Okay, Diana. We're going to take a draw action with Diana for a Drawn to the Flame. Not super useful. We're going to take another draw action with Diana, an Arcane Initiate. And we're going to play the Initiate, because we really need to get some guys. Let's take a look at the top 3 cards of the deck and see if any of them are a spell. Well, we got a Ward of Protection that we're drawing, so fine. Not amazing, but fine. We are going to be at hand size, but frankly, I can afford to drop some of these. I don't need this many cancels. We get Upkeep for Trish, a Nimble, Upkeep for Diana, a Dark Prophecy. Now, what are we dropping? I think we're dropping a Drawn to the Flame. It's not... It's good. Like, it's good to have clues. But the encounter deck in this scenario is pretty scary. And I'd just as soon not draw more enemies and not draw the... that peril that does like 3 and 3. That thing just sucks. I do have a lot of cancels in hand, though. So it's like... It's really a mixed bag. Maybe, you know what, maybe I drop the Clairvoyance. The Clairvoyance is really expensive and kind of slow. So, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so we get our first Doom, which brings us up to 2 because of the Arcane Initiate. And we get our first encounter card for Trish. It's an Acolyte. At an empty location. We have to place a Doom on him. See, this is like the exact nightmare scenario. This guy's got to go to one of these, and he gets a Doom on him, and we are already up shit creek. Alright, and Diana gets... Demonic Piping. That's just going to go up to the agenda and Surge. We could like cancel it, but I just as soon save my cancels for a real thing. The Ultimate Chaos. Test 4 if you fail. Attach Ultimate Chaos to Azathoth. If you fail by 2 or more, take a damage and horror. If you fail by 3 or more, gain Surge and can't be cancelled. When all 3 of them are attached to Azathoth, discard them and either place a Doom on Azathoth or Azathoth attacks each investigator in player order, cannot be cancelled. So, I'm pretty sure that we're just canceling this straight up with a Ward of Protection. So 1 and 1 to play the Ward of Protection, boosting our willpower up 1 and drawing a card and gaining a resource to cancel that. And then before we go any further, we'll just go ahead and tap the Arcane Initiate to look at the top 3 cards of the deck. If there's any spells, we'll get them. No, of course not. Why would there be? I think we're going to go ahead with Trish first again. We're going to use Rook on it during an Investigate. 6 against 2. We're going to look at the top 9 cards of the deck. Trying to get that. Yeah, so we get the Tower instead. I'm really trying to get that other weakness. Let's move that into our hand, please. But I think I'll take a deduction off this. Oh no, but I can't use the deduction. Oh, you gotta love it. Yeah, we'll take the well-connected, because if we don't take it now, we're not going to see it again for a while. So we're investigating 6 against 2 for 1 clue. Okay, we get that clue. Perfect. Second action, we're going to go ahead and spend 2 clues to look at the top 2 cards of the Cosmos. So 1, 2. How do I put these in a spot that they won't put their clues down? Yeah, 1, 2. So we've got 2 flights into Oblivion. You must connect either above or take 2 horror and connect to the top most revealed location in a direction of your choice. Okay, well this has to connect above, which is not useful. And remove a resource from the scenario reference card. Move the placement of Flight of Oblivion once upward. Okay. I guess I can take 2 horror and move it like here. Right, okay, yes, so I'm taking 2 horror and move it there. So I'll put 1 on Rook, and I'll just put 1 on myself, I suppose. That'll allow us to put 1 of these Steps of Oblivion right there. Putting this location back, shuffled into Trish's deck. And then once it's placed, we move there as well. Well, we don't really get a great turn otherwise, and I think that unfortunately we're just getting really frigged from having played that Arcane Initiate when we did. We're going to try and kill the Initiate off if we can. We're going to get 1 more clue with Trish. 6 against 2 on this location. That's a -2, so we get the clue off the steps. And so hopefully Trish can do something to get a damage onto the Initiate so that we get 1 more turn to come deal with this Acolyte and get a location here. Or maybe get a small favor on Trish, possibly. It'd be tricky to get enough money to play it, but we'll see what happens. So Diana's here. She's going to play the Drawn to the Flame. And she'll have a Ward of Protection to be able to deal with a horror to the Arcane Initiate. Yeah, okay. So that's the play. So we play the Drawn to the Flame. We draw the top card of the encounter deck. It is an unavoidable demise. We're testing 3 against 2. We could attempt a Dark Prophecy instead, so as to save a Ward of Protection. I guess the risk of the Dark Prophecy is pulling a tablet as the only thing and getting an attack. So taking 2 damage and then also getting an attack against me. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Ward of Protection, putting the final horror on the Arcane Initiate, getting rid of her. And then drawing a card and gaining a resource. The Azure Flame level 5, very good. That goes away. And then we get the 2 clues off the location. Then second action, we can move to catch up with Trish. I forgot to put this guy back into the Chaos deck there. Or, excuse me, Cosmos deck. And so we'll have 1 action remaining. I kind of feel like it's playing the Azure Flame, as much as I hate using this huge, like, devastating attack against this little lowly Acolyte. I feel like playing it and getting it into play is very important. And we can even use the Nightgaunt Steed if we fail to get the location to our, I guess, our right. So that's pretty good too. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Forgot to take up my willpower. So we get our upkeep on Trish. A small favor. Okay, so we could, we could do Cryptic Writings, Hot Streak, small favor as well. That's another option. But I think since we're able to do it a different way, we'll go ahead with what we're doing. Holy Rosary. Very good to see. 2, 3 Doom total. Encounter card for Trish is an Impending Evils, which is going to be dealing us 1 and 1, I believe. Or put this next to the agenda deck and it gains Surge. Yeah, I think it's 1 and 1. So we'll go ahead and we'll do 1 and 1. Well, we'll do 1 to Rook, obviously, but we'll put the other horror onto ourselves. And then Diana gets the Wizard of the Order. Any empty location, retaliate. At the end of the Mythos phase, place 1 Doom on Wizard of the Order. That sucks. That sucks so much, I'm really tempted to Dark Insight it. So the question is, can we do it? And if we can, how onerous is it on us to do so? And I think the answer is that if we put him here, we have to walk back and kill him. If we put him here, we have to go both ways, or we have to make sure we small favor this guy, and then Diana has to go kill that guy. And so I think the Dark Insight's just the easier option of all that. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to play the Dark Insight, putting that underneath us, getting a willpower, gaining a resource, and drawing a card, which is Penny. Not bad. Actually quite good, I think. And we'll toss him back into the Mythos deck. Okay, so I think we're going to go with Trish first. And we're going to do her turn normally and assume that Diana can Night Gaunt over to the Acolyte if things don't go well. So what we're going to do is we're going to, for 3, we're going to be playing the Hot Streak to gain 10 resources. And then we're going to 1-2 get a Well Connected. And then we're going to... oh yeah, wait, hold on. Am I doing this in the wrong order? No, this is fine. We're going to spend our 2 clues, and we're going to look at that last card in the Cosmos. Maybe we won't, you know what, we're gonna leave the Well Connected in hand. Second action, we're going to do the Cosmos. And we'll see what we get off of that. Actually, I should just draw 2 and look at it in Trish's hand. That's what I'm going to do from now on. So we've got an Infinity of Darkness. You must either connect below or take 2 damage and connect to the bottommost revealed location in a direction of your choice. Or the Flight into Oblivion, which is, again, above. So I think we're going to do the Infinity of Darkness, connecting below. So that's going to pop right into play right there. This is going to go back into Trish's deck. And this is going to go back into the Cosmos. And that's going to put Trish right there. And I think what I'm going to do is, instead of playing the Well Connected now, I am going to do the Investigate for 6 against 4 and use the Mr. Rook last charge. Looking at the top 9 cards of the deck, getting the Shadow Agents into play, and grabbing what? I think a Leo DeLuca is very good, because I'm spending a lot of actions on this Cosmos stuff. And we're just 6 against 2 for the clue. We get the auto fail. Oh my god. Okay, but the auto fail's fine because we can just working a hunch, get the evade off on him anyways, discarding him and getting the clue from the location. Not ideal, but, you know, it is the backup. So then Diana's turn gets to very simply be move over to the Acolyte, engaging him, and it is the Hideous Palace. Very nice to see that as well. And we get 1 action to defeat this Acolyte with. I guess we're probably going to use a Dark Prophecy on an Azure Flame charge to pull this off. I think that's fine. So last action, we're attacking for 7 against 3, and for 1, we'll play the Dark Prophecy, revealing 5 tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get the -2 on the tablet. If you fail to take an attack from Azathoth, we're not failing. This goes under here, giving us a willpower, a resource, and a card, and this guy gets defeated. Okay, so we get upkeep on Trish, which is our other small favor. Okay, so we're very set up for killing them remotely now, which is nice. And then an upkeep on Diana, which is going to be our next Eldritch Inspiration. Very nice to see with the Edge of Flame. Forgot to spend the charge, my bad. 3 out of 4 Doom. And a counter card for Trish is another Impending Evils. Well, this is just going to kill off Mr. Rook, for sure. And for Diana, we get another Demonic Piping. I wish I could cancel this, actually. I really wish I could cancel that. But that's going to go up into the agenda deck, and we're going to surge into a Mysterious Chanting. 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy. If there are no cultist enemies in play, search the encounter deck and discard powerful cultist enemy and draw it. Shuffle the encounter deck. So we're drawing an Acolyte. He's getting a Doom on him. That's a clue. Let's flip that to a Doom. And then he has to go to an empty location, which is going to be behind Trish, and so Trish is going to have to use a small favor to finish this guy off. Actually, no, I think I'm allowed to advance the act, aren't I? I think I'm allowed to advance the act, and this guy just gets shuffled into the top of the deck. And I think since I have the small favors, now it's fine for me to advance and risk this guy popping out quickly. Is that true? Oh, I don't know the answer to that. So there's definitely a couple of things that happen. Like, when this advances, they commit ritual suicide and the Doom goes on to Azathoth. So, like, if I advance, and after you advance, you draw an encounter card, and the enemy gets, like, shuffled into the top 5 cards of the deck or something. Like, the risk of drawing the Acolyte and not being able to kill it means that Azathoth might get a Doom that I can't remove. And so I think I do have to kill him. So we'll go first with Trish. She's going to play a Cryptic Writings for 1, 2, 3 resources. She's going to play a small favor for 4 to kill that Acolyte. And last action, she'll move in with Diana to the Hideous Palace. Okay, now, so investigators at the Hideous Palace may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. We're at 3 out of 2, so we will spend those. I'm going to spend 1 from Trish because she gets them a bit easier. I'm going to spend 1 from Diana because, kind of likewise, she gets them a bit harder. And we're going to advance the act. Remove Cosmic Ingress from the game. Shuffle each empty space into its owner's deck and each location in play other than Hideous Palace into the Cosmos. Each investigator at those locations is left behind and killed. Each enemy at those locations is shuffled into the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. Take the set-aside Court of the Great Old Ones and the top 2 cards of the Cosmos and shuffle them so you cannot tell which is which. Then put them into play along with the empty space as depicted in Location Placement for Act 2 in the campaign guide. Fortunately, we have that handy-dandy button that'll handle a lot of this for us. Then in player order, each investigator draws the top card of the encounter deck. And we end up looking like this. We get an encounter card for Trish, which is going to be Fate of All Fools, which just goes into play in her threat area. And Diana gets a Whispered Bargain. You must either place 1 Doom on Azathoth, or Azathoth attacks you. Well, Azathoth attacks me, which I dodge. Putting that underneath, drawing a card and gaining a resource for another Holy Rosary. That's exactly what that's there for. We're up to 6 willpower, thankfully. Okay, and now Diana's got her whole turn ahead of her, and so I think what she's going to do is she's going to play Penny for 2 resources, getting another willpower, so she'll be up to 7 in a way. And then we're going to play an Emergency Cash for 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to play a Holy Rosary for 1, 2. So we're at like 8 willpower between these, and then another +3 for the Azure Flame. Hopefully that means that when we see any of those mindless dancers, we can just kill them outright. Okay, so we get upkeep on Trish. I forgot to place those empty space locations into play now that I'm thinking about it, so let me do that really quick. Okay, so those are out from Trish. I'm just choosing the lead investigator because I think it's supposed to be the active one, but like, I don't know, it's confusing. I don't want to mix up whose cards are going into whose deck. So upkeep for Trish. She gets her Lucky Secret Case level 2. That's pretty good. And then upkeep for Diana. She gets an Arcane Initiate, which is, it's fine. We get our Doom Overturn. Each cultist commits ritual suicide. Discard each cultist enemy in play. Move all Doom onto them from them to Azathoth. The lead investigator must search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of Demonic Piping and draw it. Oh, shit. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Check the campaign log. If Gilman's journal is listed under your mementos discovered, you're able to find your way. Otherwise, you become hopelessly lost. Each investigator must either move the location to his or her left, or move the placement of his or her location once to the left, placing an empty space in the spot previously occupied. A location cannot move more than once via this effect. Well, we were able to find our way, but unfortunately, we're going to fetch the last Demonic Piping, and that's spawning the Piper. So we draw this. It's going to surge. That's going to head up into the agenda deck, and then all 3 are going to make it spawn, which is really nasty. Okay, and that's going to surge as well into an unavoidable demise, which is going to be 4 against 2. I don't get to put anything into this. Oh yeah, he spawns with me because I have the least remaining sanity. I only have 4 sanity remaining. I do get a very, very pass on this, so this goes up to the agenda deck. And then we actually have to do our normal Mythos draws. And that's going to be another unavoidable demise, which I still can't commit to. Ugh. A -2, so that hits me for 3 damage. Yuck. And then Diana gets an Acolyte, which goes into an empty location. We're going to put him at the nearest empty location in hopes of this guy not sticking around for too long. But we don't have to deal with him quite yet, because we do have 6 Doom. Each location is connected. Do not remove Doom from enemies when the agenda advances. Yada, yada, yada. We still have the same general act requirement, but we have to get the clues to the Court of the Great Old Ones this time. Okay, so this guy's pretty nasty. I can't commit to this, so I'm going to have to play a Mind Over Matter, I believe, to have any semblance of getting away from him. So we'll go ahead and we'll play the Mind Over Matter. Draw us a card. Get the Ace of Rods. So we're going to be evading at like 8 against 2, first action. Okay, another Elder Sign. Thank you. And then we need to get out from under this location. So I think we're going to play the tower so that we can start committing stuff later. And we're going to investigate. What is it? What am I going to be, like 6 against 3? Okay. Okay, I can't, but I'll still just take the clue, and I'll even get a bonus clue from Trish's ability since we have an enemy at our location. As for Diana, I'm going to put the Piper of Azathoth here so that I remember what the values are that I'm testing against. We're just going to Azure Flame the shit out of this guy. It is going to empty us from our Azure Flame, but I feel like dealing with this is very important. So, like 11 against 5, a +1, we will use an Eldritch Inspiration to cancel the 2 damage against us and deal 3 damage to him. We'll go again. We can draw a card from underneath Diana Stanley and add it to our hand, which we absolutely will. What goes there, though? Which of these comes back? I feel like a Ward of Protection is an easy one. I feel like a Dodge is an easy one. And I feel like a Dark Prophecy is an easy one as well. That's 2 down, and we do get our damage. But which of these am I adding to my hand is the question. I feel like adding a Ward of Protection back to hand is just like really good. So I'm going to add a Ward of Protection back to my hand. And then we're going to do one final fight with the Azure Flame. This time only 10 against 5. A -1, and the Piper is defeated. Good night, you idiot. Get our upkeep on Trish, which is going to be a Burning the Midnight Oil. Good, that'll help us recoup our money a bit. And then on Diana, we get an Emergency Cash. Fine. We really need to get another copy of a fight spell, though. We get 1 Doom. We have a second one down on the Acolyte. And then our encounter cards are... the Mindless Dancer. Spawn the farthest empty space. Hunter, Mindless Dancer can enter empty space as if it were a location. After Mindless Dancer moves to an empty space via its Hunter keyword, resolve its Hunter keyword again. Open it once per round. So this guy's going to spawn like right there. And then Diana gets a World in Darkness. If there's no Doom and Azathoth, a World in Darkness gains Surge. And then a Whispered Bargain. You must either place a Doom on Azathoth or Azathoth attacks you. Now, I think I definitely have the capacity to take an attack. I could just cancel this again for a horror instead of a full attack. And I feel like that's probably like why this went back to hand. And it also gets me a card draw. So I think that's what happens. That gets canceled. That's gone. A horror goes under my rosary, and I got a card and a resource back. And a terrible secret occurs. And I burn up a Deny Existence to make me not have to discard all 5 of those. Yeah. Okay, so now we're looking at what we do at this point. I think that I need to get this Lucky Cigarette case into play for Trish. I think I really want to get this Well Connected into play and this Leo DeLuca into play as well. And maybe the Leo DeLuca is a better play right now. Yeah, I think the Leo DeLuca is a better play. So we drop down to 0. We get a bonus action now, which is really nice. We're going to use the Burning the Midnight Oil for 2 resources to investigate our location 6 against 3. Elder Sign again for another clue. I think at this point I just spend 1 clue to look at the top Cosmos card. I don't care too much about what it is, I think. So we get an Infinity of Darkness. It must connect below or take 2 damage to have it connect in the direction of my choice, but below is fine. We'll be down here at the Infinity of Darkness, and I think we'll just gather another clue, maybe. So we'll be 6 against value, which is successful for the last clue there. So once again, Diana's kind of in a position where she really wants to be able to go fight that Acolyte, but that Mindless Dancer is really scary as well. So I kind of want her to spend a clue to just reveal another location so that the Mindless Dancer has to slow down a bit. And I need Trish to be able to go evade that Mindless Dancer so that we can leave it behind us, because we're out of damaging stuff. But for now, I think we're going to do a card draw to see if we can find something. And I've had worse is fine. I do need to get my my blade to churn cards out from underneath me for my new cancels to be useful again. So I think we're going to do 1 more card draw. Deny Existence 5. Fine. I think that we're going to... Oh, that's really dicey. I think that we're going to just do 1 more card draw. Yeah, we're going to do 1 more card draw. A Guts. Okay. A Guts is okay. Guts is whatever. It's a card cycle, so that's fine. So the hunting phase, this guy can either hunt down to the Acolyte, or we can have him hunt 1 and either there or there. And I think we're going to have him hunt. Because then he's moving 1 at a time to the nearest, so long as Diana doesn't go any farther than that. So that's fine. So we get upkeep on Trish for a perception level 3. Excuse me, level 2. That's good. Upkeep on Diana gets us a Azure Flame level 3. And that's good to have to be clearing off the cultists and the Wizards of the Order. I think I like Penny a lot. Getting the incidental clue is very good. I wonder if I have enough money between this I've had worse and this emergency cash. The emergency cash might be too much. I think the emergency cash is too much money. So I'm going to drop that and hope not to regret it. Up to 3 out of 6 Doom. And the counter card for Trish is the Ultimate Chaos. It's not good. If you fail Ultimate Chaos attached to Azathoth, if you fail by 2 or more, take a damage in a horror. If you fail by 3 or more, it gains Surge and it cannot be cancelled. Well, we're just testing 2 against 4, unfortunately. -3. Yeah. So this goes to Azathoth, we take a damage and a horror, and that gains Surge. Mysterious Chanting. 2 Doom on the nearest cultist, so we gotta go deal with him, like, right the fuck now. And an encounter card for Diana is the Fate of All Fools. Unfortunately, I don't have a cancel for that, so we're drawing another card over on Trish, which cannot be cancelled. We get another Ultimate Chaos. This is a nightmare situation for this to happen. A +1. Okay, so we don't take a damage or horror, but it does go on Azathoth. Okay. And more importantly, it doesn't surge, which is kind of nice. But if there are 3 or more copies, you place a Doom on Azathoth, or Azathoth attacks each investigator in player order, and that can't be cancelled. Oof. Okay, so Trish is going to spend 2 clues to look at the top 2 cards of the Chaos, the Cosmos deck. Let's see what those are. She gets the Nightmare Breach. Connect in a direction of your choice, but only onto a spot where an empty space exists. Remove that empty space from the game instead of shoveling it back into its owner's deck. Then discard each other copy of that card from play from each investigator's hand, or you must connect to the right, or lose 2 resources and connect to an adjacent location in a direction of your choice. After you move to Dancer's Mist, remove a resource from the scenario reference card and move to a connecting location. So I think we're going to be taking Dancer's Mist because it's the direction we want to go. So goodbye, Nightmare Breach. That'll pop into play right here. We'll move over to it, and this will go back into Trish's deck. Now we're now close enough to small favor this guy if we want to. But I think we're going to investigate the location. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 against 3 for 2 card draws and a clue off the location. And then I think we're forced to take a resource and small favor that guy to death. Because that would have been an awful lot of turns lost if we weren't able to do that. Also, a clue from the location. Forgot about that. Okay, so Diana is going to 1, 2, 3 play her Azure Flame. She's going to take a move. Ooh, she could use up a Nightgaunt Steed to check that location. And I think that's not a bad choice. I feel like it's not a bad choice to check the location. It does mean that we're disconnected from Trish, which is a little bit of a problem if Trish gets harried. So I think maybe we're just going and catching up with Trish. And we can do something like move, and maybe even spend a resource from the scenario reference card to move here and see if this is the right one. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. We're going to move, and we're going to spend a reference card. So there's our first one spent out of the, well, I mean, we spent 2 on the Night Gaunts, but first one spent off the 4 that were remaining. Take a look and see what this is. No, it's just an Infinity of Darkness. So we know we don't need to go there. We're all done our turns. This guy hunts there and then stops hunting because he only hunts further if he's hunting into an empty space. Counter card for Trish, upkeep for Trish is a manual dexterity. That's good. And upkeep for Diana is a dodge. That's also good. 3 out of 6 Doom. Counter card for Trish. An Impending Evils. She's getting pretty beat up here. I think that this is unfortunately going next to the agenda deck and surging. World in Darkness, no Doom on Azathoth, that surges. Another Mindless Dancer, farthest empty space. So this guy's going to be all the way up here. That sucks. And then for Diana, Fate of All Fools. Oh, God. Alright, here goes. The last Mindless Dancer. Farthest empty space. Now, empty space does not mean that it has to be an empty location, right? Right? Can I choose the same one? God, I don't know the answer to that, and I'm going to assume that I can. So these guys are chasing me now. Okay, Trish is going to get this clue off the location. 6 against 3, I believe. And that's good enough. It's not good enough. 6 against 3, I said. Thank you. And then we're going to spend 3 clues to look at 1 Cosmos location. What do we get? We get the Nightmare Breach again. That sucks. Pathway into the Void. Connect in a direction of your choice. After you enter here, you must either discard a card from your hand or take a damage. Move 1 resource from the scenario reference card. Move Pathway into the Void to any adjacent spot, placing an empty space in the spot. Ooh, excuse me. In the spot it previously occupied. Group limit once per game. Cosmic Gate. Connect to any revealed location in a direction of your choice. After you enter the Cosmic Gate, you must either spend a clue or take a horror. Remove 1 resource from the scenario reference card. Move any number of investigators at Cosmic Gate to any other Void location. I think I'm choosing Pathway to the Void. And then the question is, where am I putting it? Am I putting it here, so if I can move it up 1? Or am I putting it... Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. I'm putting it here so that I can move it up 1 if I have to. That's the correct answer. So that's going there. We're moving there. This goes into Trish's deck. We have 1 action remaining, which is going to be moving back to the Cosmos to see if it's the final location. Please! No! Interstellar Abyss. Connect in the... Oh, that's not happening. While you're at the Interstellar Abyss, you cannot spend clues. Okay, fine. That means we're going to have to move back up to here. And so we could, like... We can use this. Yeah, we can use this to move this once and then move there. The trick is getting this guy evaded because he's going to be hunting there. No, he can hunt there. Is it 1, 2? 1, 2, 3. No, if Diana moves here, so Diana moves there. This guy can hunt there. These guys will hunt there. Then we can just all both move up onto this location and then shove it up and move to there. Or I could have just this guy just hit Diana and then these guys move down. Yeah, I like that even more. So 1, 2, and then last action, what do we do? 1, 2, last action, what do we do? That's a good question. I think that we just take a resource in anticipation of needing to play some more stuff soon. So like I said, these guys, they're all equidistant. They're all hunting to Diana, and these guys are equidistant this way as this way. And even though that would move them to and hit me, I can choose to move them here because it's equidistant, right? So they both move there, and then this guy moves here and hits Diana. Why are they doing that? Don't do that. So he engages us. We take 1, 2, and 3. We don't really need to take any damage to the face. We still have the steadfast because we want to be able to avoid that. And we'll do an upkeep with Trish, burning the Midnight Oil. An upkeep with Diana. An Enchanted Blade. Oh, I meant to play a dodge actually, but whatever. I guess the Arcane Initiate is probably the least useful of all these guys. So we'll get a Doom 4 out of 6. And an encounter card for Trish is The End is Nigh. Test 1, +1 difficulty where X is the current agenda. So 2, if there is no agenda in play, X is 4. If you fail, move each Doom on each cultist enemy into play to Azathoth. Or place a Doom on Azathoth if there are no cultist enemies in play. Well, I'd love to not fail that, but it's pretty unlikely, and the cards that I have in my hand are pretty good. But we're testing 2 against 3, I believe. So I could get up to 5 against 3. 5 against 3 is pretty good in this bag right now. So yeah, you know what? Fuck it. 5 against 3. A -2. So we don't even fail it. Pretty good. And then Diana gets The End is Nigh as well. Okay. We're testing a lot against this though, right? Like, what are we at? 6, 7, 8. We are at 8 against 3. So I mean, fine. Do I bother putting the guts into this? Yeah, I think just to cycle a card. Okay, well we don't, and I mean, all right, fine, whatever, but we don't, and we get a Doom on Azathoth. So there's our first one, and we're now in the danger zone for this agenda. Oh, I forgot, when they both moved into that, they were supposed to take a damage or discard a card, so we'll take a damage from Diana Stanley, and I guess we'll have discarded the Ace of Rods for Trish, because that's not super useful. So Trish is going to move back, which is going to discard another card from her hand, and we'll just go ahead and discard the Nimble, because the Nimble is really awkward in this scenario. And then we'll remove a card from a location reference thing. Yeah, we'll remove a resource from the scenario reference card to move Pathway into the void into an adjacent spot. So we'll kind of just shuffle those like that. Thank you very much. We will investigate the location with a Burning the Midnight Oil for 2 resources and a deduction committed. So we'll be at 4, 5, 6, 7. And you know what? We'll just go ahead and get an extra icon if we can. 8, 9. 0. Great. So we get to evade the Mindless Dancer from Trish's ability and gather 2 clues. And then last action, we'll move up to the final location there. Core of the Great Old Ones, 6 clues on it. Oh no! I can't get those clues with Diana this turn, I don't think. And so I don't think I'm able to actually advance this turn. But I guess it's not that big of a deal. Okay, we'll see what happens. So Diana's going to move up 1 location. She's going to spend 3 resources for Enchanted Blade over her other Azure Flame. And yeah, she really can't get that other clue, can she? That is a big bummer. Okay, we'll just draw a card. Another Steadfast. Okay, 2 Steadfast is really handy with this Enchanted Blade in play. These guys hunt there and there, and there and there, because of their hunting through an empty space. We get an upkeep for Trish, which gets In the Shadows. We get an upkeep for Diana, which gets us a Hypnotic Gaze. And then we get to our 6 Doom, unfortunately, which advances the act. Each cultist enemy commits ritual suicide. The lead investigator must search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of Demonic Piping and draw it. So I know that that's in there. We'll just pull those out in a moment. And we'll send that down to Trish. So she draws that, goes next to the agenda, and then she gets a surge into a Wizard of the Order. I have no idea how that happens. Like, what? There's no empty locations right now, so this guy fizzles, right? No, there's empty locations right now, so he doesn't fizzle. Confusing this with the end of the deck. So he has to go to an empty location, so he's like all the way back here, which is going to place a Doom on him at the end of the Mythos phase. And we're at our 8 Doom threshold, the final countdown. 1 from Azathoth. And then we get our real encounter card draw, which is a Mysterious Chantings, 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy. That sucks. Technically, he only has 2 right now, but he will have 3 in a moment. And then for Diana, we get another End is Nigh. We're still at 8 against 3, so it's just, or 8 against 4 now, I guess. So we'll just draw it again. 0. We succeeded a skill test during Revelation effect. We get to get a clue from the location, which is pretty good. And now we actually have enough clues to just immediately advance and continue on into the final zone. And I think with both of us having all of our actions to spare, we should probably just do that. I think that's okay. So we'll spend our clues. We'll continue on. Remove the Hideous Palace from the game. Shuffle each enemy Shuffle each empty space into its owner's deck and each location in play other than the Core of the Great Old Ones into the Cosmos. Each investigator at those locations is left behind and killed. Each enemy at those locations is shuffled into the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We grab those enemies, and these guys are going to get shuffled into these top 5 cards. So, boom, there's our top 5 cards. Set aside Black Throne and the top 3 cards of the Cosmos, shuffle them so you cannot tell which is which, then put them into play along with the empty space as depicted in the location placement for Act 3. Again, just pressing the button in Tabletop Simulator. And then we draw the top card of the encounter deck. So how does this work? Boom. We end up over here. This Ultimate Chaos is supposed to be up on Azathoth, but whatever. And this is the deck, I believe? I hope I did that right. Yeah, that appears to be correct. And then we draw the top cards of the encounter deck. A Mindless Dancer goes back into play at the farthest empty space. And I guess that's, again, like right here. And then we get another Mindless Dancer. Oh, that is super unfortunate. Oh, man. We need to get away from them real fast. That is nasty. Okay, so I think that unfortunately Trish is just forced to take a bunch of investigates here. So let's get going. 6 against 4. That's one clue. 6 against 4. That's another clue. That's a -2. 6 against 4. That's another clue. Oh, thank God. And then 6 against 4. Oh, man, that string of luck there. That's nice. I like that. Thank you, game. Thank you very much. Okay, as for Diana, I think that she needs to find a sixth sense really badly, which is a shame because her hand's pretty full of good stuff, but we'll go ahead and see what we can do. Dark Prophecy, it's fine. Let's take a resource to make sure we can play this Hypnotic Gaze and this dodge, and let's draw another card. Okay, Ritual Candles is pretty useless. So upkeep, no, not upkeep yet. These guys are going to hunt 1, 2, I guess. I should have had them at the same spot, and they should both be here. Is the correct answer to what to what should have happened. So upkeep for Trish gets us a black book. Upkeep for Diana gets us a Sixth Sense, discarding a Ritual Candles and a. I hate to lose the Dark Prophecy. It's a really good way to make sure that you hit. But I am worried it's the worst card, or at least the lowest value card in my deck right now, in my hand right now. These Steadfasts on the Enchanted Blades are really good. Maybe the Holy Rosary just isn't dying anytime soon. I think that might be correct, actually. Yeah, we'll do that instead. So we're at 2 out of 8 Doom. We get an encounter card on Trish. It's going to be... Oh, the Wizard of the Order. Any location. Fuck, that is so bad. Okay, I think we're putting them down here because this is the way we really prefer to go against these mindless dancers. So this should have its clues back at the end of the round, every round. And then for Diana, we get a Demonic Piping. Oh dear. I think I forgot to put a Demonic Piping into play earlier. Yeah, I think that's true. So that, like, really sucks. This is not a fun board state. And that surges into a World in Darkness. So I must lose a resource, choose and discard a card from my hand, take a horror, or take a damage. I think I lose a resource. Not that big of a deal. So we really need to open a path down this way. I think that means that we're using clues to try to go this way or this way, and so I want to draw a couple cards from the Cosmos. I prefer to go to the center, though, because then whatever I get, I'm happy with. But I also really don't want to run out of locations to investigate. I might need to come back here and get a bunch of clues. I think I'm going to toss out one more investigate before I try anything. I'll be at 6 against 4. I could commit this to be 8 against 4. Yeah, we'll commit that to be 8 against 4. We get the +1 anyway, so we'll get the last clue that we needed. We'll spend 3 to look at the top 3 cards of the Cosmos deck there. We'll see what we get. Top, not possible. Below, or the leftmost revealed location or direction of your choice. Then you must either immediately move to Winding Gulf or place a Doom on Azathoth. That's a weird... Don't you already have to immediately move there? Like, that's just what this does, right? Choose one to put into play using its Cosmos and move to it. So, what does that do? I don't know, whatever. I'm going to move this... I'm going to move this where I want it to be, in the direction of my choice. It's haunted. That's the thing. Okay, fine. I don't care about haunted, though. I'll put that there, and I forgot to do stuff with the setup here, with the empty space, so I'll do those now. There we go. So now we're at the Winding Gulf, and I think it's safe for us to just spend 2 to look at the next top 2 cards of the Cosmos deck. Let's take a look at what those are. The Dancer's Mist to the right, or the Infinity of Darkness to the below. The Infinity of Darkness gets us closer to 2 of them. This one gets us closer to 2 of them as well. And it also gives us that movability later. And we never get to use the ability on this one. But I think the Infinity of Darkness is good to go check that definitely have a path to that Wizard of the Order. So we'll put that there. Put that back into Trish's deck. We'll move to it. And then I think last action, she's actually... Well, she'll put the Dance of the Mist away, but she's going to put a Well-Connected into play to get some skill boosts. As shitty of skill boosts as they can be. Diana's going to take one move to the Winding Gulf. She's going to really wish she had spell slot for the Sixth Sense. Like, really, really wish she did. Just intensely. But I really feel like I can't afford to just frig around with this Enchanted Blade or Azure Flame. They're just way too valuable right now. And she's going to move down again to Trish. I guess there's a question of, do I move one more time to deal with the Wizard of the Order next turn? And I feel like my answer is yes. One damage is well worth getting him next turn. So let's move one more time. Cannot spend clues. That's fine, but we get engaged. So Hunter phase, move, and they stop because they're now connected to us, I guess. This guy pings Diana for 1. I don't really want to dodge that. We get upkeep for Trish for a manual dexterity. And upkeep for Diana is a overpower. Well, I guess we could like steadfast overpower and try to just punch this guy down. If I'd have done like a Hypnotic Gaze to reflect the damage or something. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of goofy, but it could have happened, I guess was my point. We'll get rid of a steadfast because we'll use an overpower to cycle a little bit. With using an Enchanted Blade to defeat this guy, yeah. So, I guess we're at 4 out of 8. Getting a counter card for Trish is another Mindless Dancer, farthest empty space. And that'll put this guy right here. Then an encounter card for Diana Stanley is the Whirl in Darkness, losing a resource, choosing a discarding a card from hand, or taking a horror or a damage. It's kind of funny, I could like choose to take a damage and then heal a damage with this deny, but I kind of feel like I'm saving the deny for cycling my deck, because that's probably going to happen soon. And then this guy gets a doom at the end of the phase, but we'll just lose a resource. Okay, so we'll do what I said. We're going to do a swing. We're at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 against 4 to fight this Wizard of the Order. -3, we draw a card from the Overpower, and this guy is toast. Goodbye. I guess we're just mostly just moving up to Trish. So we'll move up one location to meet up with her, make sure that we're helping a bit. Unfortunately, we can't do this ability here at all, and Trish might be forced to like move, try to get 2 clues, and pull a Cosmos to see if it can go this way, which is just awful. That's not a good position to be on. And so I'm kind of tempted to do an Investigate, committing the Sixth Sense, and using a Dark Prophecy to try and get a -2. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. No, it's less clues here. Yeah, no, that's really nasty. I don't like that one bit. I wonder if I'm like standing and delivering against these mindless dancers with Diana. I am kind of set up to do it. It just doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. Yeah. I don't like any of my options here. I think that I might just use the Night Gaunt Steed and run away a little bit. So direct damage onto him. We like walk this way to try and get to see this one. I kind of feel like that's my option right now. An option, but you know, maybe my best one. I'm not sure. Anyways, with Trish, we're going to do an Investigate at this location. It'll be 6 against 2. We definitely get the clue. And now the question is, do we like try to Cosmos from here and risk going back this way and then just moving and doddering around a little bit? Or do we like move up, get another one, and then pull 2 to see which one of these 2 we can go to? I don't really like either of those answers. But we could get forced to like pull a really gross one here if we did. And so I don't know. I'm not sure. This is the part of the scenario that's scary to me, is these mindless dancers are just right behind us. They really are going to kill Trish if they land on her. I'm not sure what the right answer is. Similarly, I don't have a lot of soak to deal with this Infinity of Darkness, or any of those effects that deal a bunch of damage. I wonder if I just like take 2 moves and try out one of those Cosmos with the Nikon Steed. Yeah, maybe that's the right play. Maybe that's the play. Yeah, I'll take a move to go to Diana's location, putting a damage on the Nikon. 1, and then I'll do another move to there. The Dancer's missed, and now I've got some clues here that I can do, and I can try and place one like here if I wanted to. That's not too bad. Yeah, I think that's okay. We'll just do one more investigate. 6 against 3. Okay, an auto fail. So these guys are hunting to Diana because she is the closest. So 1, 2. And this guy's also hunting to Diana. And since this is equidistant to this, I can have him hunt there. Trish's upkeep gets her a hot streak. Very good for the well-connected. Should have used that, I think, for a +1 on that investigate, but whatever. It was an auto-fail anyways. And then an upkeep on Diana gets her the Twilight Blade finally. A little late, but better late than never, I guess. At that point, we're just getting rid of the guts. 3, 4 Doom. And then counter card for Trish is Impending Evils, taking 1 and 1, I believe, is the correct answer, as much as that hurts. And then for Diana, a Fate of All Fools, which I cannot cancel still, which pulls another one on Trish, which is another Impending Evils for 1 and 1. Really starting to get scary here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead with Trish first. We're going to try and get the rest of these clues off this location. We're going to... Should I play the hot streak? Let's investigate 6. Let's go 7 against 3. You can invest another... now investigating as if you were at that location instead. Yes, 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 yes. I choose here and get 2 clues because this guy is sitting there. Very good. And that makes me happy because then I have a lot more clues available to keep carrying on. And I'm tempted to just draw the 3 now. Or excuse me, not draw the 3. That's not how I mean to say that. But take the 3 clues to try and make some progress. But based on the board state, these guys would be hunting into empty space. And unless I get exactly this... Well, if I get exactly this one, they're going to go boom, boom. Right? Unless I can move. And even if I do that, they're going to go boom, boom. So I think I need to get more clues and have them hunt down one more before I do that. So we're going to get more clues. We're going to go 6 against 3. That's another clue. 6 against 3. That's not another clue, unfortunately. And then I think we're going to play the hot streak now. So we'll gain 7 for that, bringing us up to 13 resources on Trish. And now for Diana, we are going to go 1, 2, 3 for this Twilight Blade. We are going to move to Trish, which is going to have us kind of caught up there. We got 2 clues. We got 1 clue off that? Yeah, we got 1 clue off that. And now we're in a position where we can replay some of these, and replaying some of these also means that we can get some other stuff underneath, which is really nice. But in order to replay stuff, we do need to get a bit more money. And again, another safe hunt where these guys move there and this guy moves there. Only one of them coming after us this way is nice. I'm comfortable with that. I get an upkeep on Trish for working a hunch. Really, really, really handy for when those mindless dancers finally catch up with us. And then an upkeep on Diana for an overpower, not at a hand size any longer. 5 Doom out of 8. Countercard for Trish is an Ultimate Chaos. I think that we're going to go ahead and play this Dark Insight from underneath Diana to shuffle that back into the deck. And then Diana loses a willpower, and she draws an End is Nigh. We will put a Steadfast into this to be able to test high enough. We get an Elder Sign. You may choose a card beneath Diana Stanley and add it to your hand. Ooh. I think I'll take a word back. Yeah, I'll take a word back. And we pass this so we get to get a clue off the location from Penny if we want to. And I think we do. I think that's okay. So we'll go ahead with Trish first. We'll spend our 3 clues to try and get a good Cosmos location. So what do we get? We get the Infinity of Darkness and 2 pathways into the void. So we're going to have to take a pathway into the void. And we're going to have to either Oh no, a pathway into the void or a cosmic gate. Ooh, spend a clue or take a horror. Move any number of investigators at Cosmic Gate to any other void location. Okay, that's not super good, because the starting location isn't a void location, and that would be a good spot to be able to move like back to, I guess. So we're going to do the pathway to the void and discard a card from our hand. And that's going to be a manual dexterity. But that's going to scoot us up there. That's pretty good. It lets us move into this one. If we were feeling cheeky, we could even move this here. Ooh, I might do that with Diana to try and slow this guy down from catching up with Trish. That might be a play to do later. We'll have to think about that. So that was action 1. I'm really tempted to go see if that's the last location, so we're just going to go ahead and do it. Oh, it is the Black Throne. Plus X Shroud, where X is half of the doom on Azathoth rounded up. You must either place one doom on Azathoth or Azathoth attacks you as a haunted ability. We just need to get the clues off of this now. That's really good. Okay, so we're just going to pick a clue off of it, for sure. And now we're investigating 6 against how much? 6 against half the doom on Azathoth rounded up is just +1 right now, so 6 against 2. So we're crushing this. So the auto-fail is our only fucking problem right now. I do get a clue off of that, and I will investigate again, and I do get a clue off of that. So we have 1 clue remaining on the Black Throne. So it's Diana's turn. She moves up once to the pathway into the void, discarding a card from her hand or taking a damage. I think we're going to shove the Deny Existence under us to heal a damage and draw a card and gain a resource. And then we will move up 1 more location to the final location there, like that. She's going to investigate 3, 4, 5 against 2. And she's going to play a Dark Prophecy to try and get that last clue. So she'll be 5 against 2, pulling 5 tokens. A -2. We get the last clue off the location. Super. Wow, that's awesome. If the elite investigator is at the Black Throne and there are no clues on it, advance. You stand on a precipice before the Black Throne and gaze up at the blind, voiceless monstrosity that is Azathoth. The mere sight of it causes your vision to blur and your body to shake uncontrollably. The monotonous piping is so loud now, it rattles your bones and causes blood to drip from your eyes and ears. Should Azathoth awaken, it will devour every world that ever was. If at least 2 of the following are true, you may proceed to R2. You accepted your fate. Mesmerizing Flute is under Mementos Discovered, and Ritual Components is under Mementos Discovered. So that is true, for sure. If at least 2 of the following are true, you may proceed to R3. You rejected your fate. Scrap of Torn Shadow is listed under Mementos Discovered, and Wisp of Spectral Mist is listed under Mementos Discovered, R3. If Strange Incantation and Bloody Tree Carvings are listed under Mementos Discovered, you may proceed to R6, otherwise R4. So let's take a look. I didn't reject my fate, but I do have a Scrap of Torn Shadow, and I do have the Wisp of Spectral Mist, and obviously I accepted my fate and I have the Mesmerizing Flute and the Ritual Components. Oh. No, I don't have the Ritual Components, but I did accept my fate and have the Mesmerizing Flute. So I can choose between R2 and R3. I don't have the Bloody Tree Carvings and Strange Incantation. So I'm going to go ahead with R3, because I'm pretty sure that's the one where I get away and save the universe. So we'll go ahead with R3. You refuse to allow this creature to destroy everything that you have ever loved. You gather together what you need for your ritual. A bit of shadowy essence from the witch's cloaks, a fragment of spectral mist from the wraiths you banished, and the knowledge you've gained from delving into Arkham's past. Slowly, quietly, you weave your wall together, stitching darkness with blood, blood with souls, souls with onyx stone. It takes ages to complete. When you are done, your reward is oblivion, a stillness and silence so pure, so perfect, no disturbance can penetrate it. The barrier cannot hold Azathoth. Nothing truly can. But perhaps now it will not stir when fools on earth call forth its name or draw from its power. With your task complete, you turn and face the darkness, summoning your steed. It is time to go home. In your campaign log, record Azathoth slumbers for now. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. Each investigator earns 5 bonus experience as they save the universe from being devoured. We each suffer 2 physical trauma as their nightmarish journey home takes its toll on their bodies. The investigators win the campaign! Yes! Super. Very, very pleased with the result on that. I gotta admit, I was pretty worried for a bit there. That didn't seem like it was going in my favor. This board state, like, you know, realistically, Diana could have turned around and killed one of these guys, but it would have had to be this one, and these ones would have needed to not hunt in that turn, and otherwise she would have been up shit creek. I suppose she could have saved the Dark Prophecy and the Hypnotic Gaze together to make one of them hit themselves, but still, it would have been tough. So, very, very glad we found this when we did. Obviously, we didn't see like the return to ending, because I assume that has to do with like siding with the witches, but not choosing to have the witch coven be your thing, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, really great campaign play along. Always love these. Super fun. I was really worried that Trish was not going to have the cancels, and frankly, she was getting pretty beat up. You know, she's sitting here at the end of the scenario without a lot of health, without a lot of horror. I think maybe I could have been a bit better off if I'd used these Night Gaunt Steeds a little more aggressively. I don't know how to use them aggressively, I suppose. I don't know what's safe to use them aggressively with, but either way, they served their purpose, letting me get out of a sticky situation when those dancers were catching up with me at the end there. And that was really, really, really impressive. That was cool. Thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you in the next campaign play along, and have a good night.